If you have ever submitted a piece of fiction anywhere, to a lit mag, to an agent, to an editor, I bet somewhere along the way you got this piece of feedback. I just didn't like your main character. Now, when I got this feedback when I first started writing, it would just leave me scratching my head. I had no idea what to do with this, right? I mean, in the first place, why should likability matter? Shouldn't the writing quality matter more than likability? And besides that, how do I make a character likable to everyone? We all like different things and different people. I mean, one person's Nightmare X is another person's Mr. Perfect. After a while, I finally realized when an editor or an agent is telling you they find a character unlikable, they are not saying they find them to be a bad person or someone they just personally wouldn't want to, go grab a beer with. What they're saying is this: I didn't feel a connection. That's it. It's connection, not likability, that matters. But how do you create this connection? Lucky for us writers, there are 4 types of characters that will naturally create this kind of connection. I'm going to break them down for you here and show you exactly how each character can create an instant connection with whoever you're sending your manuscript to. If you're new here, I'm Holly Schindler, an award-winning author as well as freelance editor, writing coach, and writing instructor. Type number 1, the relatable protagonist. This is the main character who is exactly like you, the reader. I don't know about you guys, but the relatable protagonist is exactly the type of character that made me a reader in the first place. It was Judy Blume's The Pain and the Great One. It was a picture book. And if you're not familiar with this book, it's just a book about sibling rivalry. And it happened to be that, when I picked up this book, was a young girl with a little brother who was a lot like the brother in the book. And there were so many just eerie similarities, right? I played the piano in the illustrations. The little girl was playing piano. We had a cat. There was a cat in the illustration. And it was just like looking at my own life. But it wasn't just the situation, the recognizable situation that made that main character relatable to me as a young girl. It was her thoughts, right? It was her thoughts about her position in the family or having a little brother. It was like seeing myself in the pages. She was spitting my own thoughts back at me. And that's key. That's what makes your character relatable. It's a character who has the same unfiltered thoughts and feelings that you have about your very similar situation. They are saying things that you would never be able to say out loud. You're getting access to thoughts that are exactly like your own. That's what makes you connect to that type of main character. Type number 2, the aspirational hero. Now, what is great about this character, right? This is not a perfect character. This is a character that bumbles along the way. I usually compare this character to, say, the kids in Hoosiers or Rudy, those 2 movies. And the reason we all connect to this person is this is more like where we are in life, right? I mean, very few of us are, Tiger Woods as a toddler showing off our putting skills on TV. That happened to none of us, right? We all have struggled with our abilities, with getting better. We all feel in some ways like we are in fact the underdog. So we instantly connect with someone who is very imperfect, who is struggling, and who is still in the fight, right? We want to see that quality in ourselves. We want to be the person that never gives up and succeeds at the end. So we were in this story with the aspirational hero, cheering them on along the way, feeling horrible for their moments of defeat and just being so relieved when they get back up and get back at it again. Type number 3, the compelling antihero. Now this character is up to some seriously bad stuff, right? And on the surface, who they are is completely unlike us and is completely, this is not someone you would ever admire. And I think, one of the best examples of a compelling antihero is Walter White. He's not doing anything any of us on the surface would admire. He's cooking meth. But what makes him compelling is, again, we have access to his inner world. We know that he is sick, that he wants to do something for his family so that when he's gone, they're okay, right? We all understand that. We all understand this desire to make sure our families are okay, the loved ones in our lives are okay. We all know, we're all with him because we know that he wants to leave his family something more than he can provide on a teaching salary. We know what his underlying desire is. We connect with that underlying desire because that is in fact familiar to us. So the compelling antihero is someone that we connect with because we understand the underlying reason for their behavior. It is universal and familiar. And type number 4, the authentic outsider. This is a character who is completely unlike you in every way. They are a different gender, they're a different age, they're a different religion, they live in a different area of the country. Maybe they're in a place you have never been before. Maybe they're in jail. Maybe they're in a different country. Maybe they're an alien in a sci-fi novel who lives in a completely different solar system. But this person is completely unlike you. Their inner world is written, again, with such specificity that you understand them. You understand their emotions. You again have absolute unfiltered access to their emotions, to their thoughts. You understand their motivations, their desires, their fears, and even if they are of a completely different species, you understand that character as though they were your best friend. Now, I bet here to some extent you're thinking, well, we kind of still have the same problem, right? Because every reader has a different set of life experiences, so every reader is going to have a different opinion as to whether or not your main character is a mirror, a relatable protagonist, or a complete outsider. So how do we handle that? Now, the through line through all of this, what was the same regardless of whether or not you're writing a relatable protagonist, an authentic outsider, an aspirational hero, or an anti-hero, was emotional honesty, emotion-rich detail, and complete unfiltered access to your main character's inner world. If you are doing that, if you are showing that main character's inner world, that's going to be what makes a reader recognize themselves in the pages. And it's also going to be what makes them empathize with a character that is completely unlike themselves. So the next time you get feedback and someone tells you they find your main character unlikable, don't start thinking about how you can make them nicer. Think, do they feel consistent? Are their emotions real? And do their motivations make sense? If a main character is authentic, your reader is going to connect, even if they're flawed. I hope this was helpful. If you'd like some more advice on how to create characters that your reader will absolutely connect to, I go into this in much greater depth in my book, Narrative Transportation. Got a link to it below. In the meantime, go write something.